And we're live. Here we are. Just getting my iPad turned on so I can monitor the chat. Hope everybody is doing okay. I'll be able to see the feedback in a second. Make sure the guitar is working and all that good stuff. It'll help if I tune it up. Oh, wow. Welcome from Alabama. We are slight technical difficulties on my iPad. Let's do it on the phone. Make sure this is working. Looks like it's working. Okay, there we go. I see Bill, Harry, Shelby, what's up? Got 20 people in here. Derek, how's it going? Things are sounding okay. All right, wonderful. Hello from Germany. Welcome. It must be late there. Hi. Jeff says it could use some more of the microphone. Check 1 2 hey hey. Check 1 2 hey hey. There we go. We can hear the traffic outside here in beautiful Birmingham. Let me know if that works. Alexander's here. Folks, I was just experimenting with exporting my S-Gear preset. I managed to do it, and I've created a Dropbox for it, and I will update the description of this video with the link for anyone that's interested in the actual preset I'm using in S-Gear for this, which I'm actually modifying as I'm using it, so I don't know how much good that's going to do you, but anyway, let me just tune this up. All right, should be in tune, and hopefully you're not hearing the unprocessed guitar through on your end. I believe I fixed that issue last time. And here we go. All right, there we go. Hey, Olga's here. Awesome. Yeah, it's so nice to see some of the TSO fans showing up for these. It's great. And we've got Bill, what's up? All right, cool. Hello from Delaware. Oh, I love seeing some East Coast folks coming in. For anyone that's located on the East Coast, anywhere in the vicinity of Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania, please know that February 19 and 20, I will be premiering my Dio tribute called Dio Rules, featuring Andrew Freeman on lead vocals. We will be playing at Ram's Head, Annapolis on the 19th, and at Mickey's Black Box in Lidditz, Pennsylvania on February 20th. And we're going to be doing, all killer, no filler, 100% the best stuff that Dio ever recorded, including stuff from Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and the original Dio band. So stuff from the Holy Diver album, the Last in Line album. It's strictly 75 to 85. It's the cream of the crop. We're going to have all that stuff in there that if you're familiar with the work of Ronnie James Dio, which I hope that you are, you will absolutely love. If you're not familiar with the work of Ronnie James Dio, what's holding you back? Why? Why haven't you familiarized yourself with the catalog? I mean, if you start with Blackmore's Rainbow, the first album in 75, I mean, right there, you've got Man on the Silver Mountain, Catch the Rainbow, 16th Century Greensleeves. I mean, it's a cavalcade of hits. And then there's Rainbow Rising with the epic Stargazer. and Tarot Woman, and you know, that features Tony Carey and Cozy Powell on drums. And then you've got the live album, you've got Rainbow on Stage, and then you've got Long Live Rock and Roll. And then he joins Black Sabbath, and you have the Heaven and Hell album, a complete classic. And then the Mob Rules album, another complete classic, just with new drummer, Vinny Appice, laying it down. Maybe the best sounding example of Ronnie's vocals ever is on the Mob Rules album, produced by none other than Martin Birch. If you're not familiar with Martin Birch, you need to get familiar with Martin Birch. And then he starts his solo band and he makes two of the most classic albums ever, the Holy Diver album and Last in Line. We're up to the witch. So yeah, come on out if you're anywhere in the Northeast. See, Richard is, sounds like there's an ambulance outside. Richard, you're in New Jersey. You can make it out to Lidditz, Pennsylvania to catch my Dio tribute. You should totally do that. We got 34 people. Hey, dances for waffles. I would dance for waffles. I appreciate you saying that I'm one of your favorite guitar players. That's awesome. You have a guitar pick from 3 years ago when you saw me in Birmingham. You're in front row. Well, are you coming again this year? Because we're here in Birmingham right now and we're playing the show tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see you there. Cheers from What's Up, Jeff Singer in Wisconsin. How are you? And yeah, if you haven't hit the thumbs up on this video, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I'll just very quickly go through like what we're doing here. I've been doing live streams on Tuesday afternoons or early evenings since our schedule kind of evened out here on the road. We've got like these 3 weeks here where it's like super regular. You know, we've got Monday and Tuesday off, and then Wednesday through Sunday we're working. And on Tuesdays, you know, it's a very low-key day. It's my Sunday. You know, if Sunday is our Friday, then Tuesday is my Sunday. You see what I'm saying? And it's just low key, so I figured I'd run this live stream. I've got the gear to do it here in the hotel room, and it's been working out, and people have been enjoying it. So I really appreciate everyone for stopping by. But really part of what I'm doing here is that I've launched a teaching site called AngusClarkGTR.com, where I have a course available, a course of 30 surefire rock licks. And I'm trying to build awareness around that for guitar players who are learning. And in addition, here on my YouTube channel, there are lots of lick lessons and other information that's valuable for aspiring guitar players. And there's a couple of links in the description. If you are not a musician, that's totally great. Welcome aboard. I'll be talking about, you know, various things, TSO, life on the road, other stuff like that. But there's also, for you, if you're interested in music, there's a link to the Deco Entertainment site where you can order a copy of the Coons Clark Band CD, or you can get a Coons Clark Band t-shirt. And that's my band. That's a record that I just made in the last year or so with my buddy Jimmy Coons, a singer who's worked with Savoy Brown and Humble Pie and numerous other kind of classic rock acts. We made this record. We're super proud of it. And if you dig music, I think you'll dig it. Please order a copy. And also, if you want to support the channel and kind of what I'm trying to do here, I've got some merch that says Got Licks, because most of my teaching is licks based, by learning guitar licks. And it's a cool shirt, says Got Licks, Angus Clark GTR, and you know, has that kind of edginess to it, like, hey, that reminds me of the Got Milk campaign, if you guys remember that. I don't know if you do, or whatever else, and then they can ask you what that's about. Oh no, that's Angus Clark. That's his teaching site, AngusClarkGTR.com. You should get over there and get yourself some licks, because he's got licks by the dozen. Actually, I should probably start packaging all the licks courses in 12, 24s, and 36s so that I could change the tagline to I've got licks by the dozen. And that would be my next round of merch, and I think that'll be great. All right, I'm gonna put that on my vision board and give myself a memo about that. Any other taglines you want to sign up, you want to send me, Olga has the Got Licks cup, and I'm sure it holds coffee, right? Yeah, it's a mug. A lot of people were asking me about a water bottle. I maybe even put a water bottle up there on the site, but really, it's like I drink my coffee out of a mug, so I made a coffee mug. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a signature baseball mitt because I don't play baseball. See? So same thing. Like, I have a signature coffee mug because I use a coffee mug. And if you don't drink your coffee out of a mug, that's totally cool. You can totally put pencils in it. And it sits there on your desk and just reminds you, like, that Angus. He came up with that slogan. And there you go. You have a mug. Do I know the set list for the Dio shows? Yes, Tony, I do have the set list for the Dio shows. Actually, I think I can run it down for you really quick if you want to know. I mean, just imagine the greatest set list you ever heard of, and I can probably do it off the top of my head. We're doing Stand Up and Shout, Straight Through the Heart, Holy Diver, and then we go back to the Rainbow era, and we do the beginning of the Rainbow live show, straight into Kill the King, Man on the Silver Mountain, Blues, Long Live Rock and Roll. Then you'll hear a playback of the beginning of Die Young, and while I'm putting on the Tony Iommi guitar, and bam, we hit you with Die Young, In Heaven and Hell, and then you'll hear playback of the beginning of E5 I50 or E5150 from the Mob Rules album, and bam, we're going to play Mob Rules, and then we're going to play Voodoo, and we're going to play Falling Off the Edge of the World, and then you know what comes next. We're right into the Dio material. It's going to be Don't Talk to Strangers, Last in Line, Rainbow in the Dark, We Rock. I mean, come on. You know, it's just the good stuff. You know, I've got alternates, like Andrew wants to do Stargazer, but that's like 9 minutes. I'm not sure we're going to have time to do that. Also, Children of the Sea is one I really want to get into the set list. But hey, J-Frog, 1979, thank you for signing up for the 30 Surefire Licks. That's awesome. Throw the horns. Thank you, Derek. Or Dances for Waffles. Man, I wish, that was a thing. You could just dance for waffles. That'd be awesome. Maybe not Waffle House waffles, but, really good Belgian waffles. What do we got? TSO Tours announced. Oh, coming to St. Louis. Okay, awesome. Lone Star Aerials, do you have to get clearance from the Dio camp to put on the show? You do not need that per se, but it depends on a couple of things. There may be things that they'll want to clear, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Would you? No, Alexander, no, we won't have Jeff. That would be fun, right? To have him, because he did Gates of Babylon with Sons of Apollo, right? No, it'll be Andrew Freeman. And Elkis SZ9RR says the Coons Clark album is amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. I super appreciate it. And you used to work at the Waffle House. That's awesome. Well, there you go. Scattered, smothered, and covered. There's one thing about being on the road in America is ever since I started touring in the early 90s, it's kind of what governs your food choices, and when you pull off the road, if you're willing to eat McDonald's will be the first thing that you see, and you'll kind of always wind up there. So early on, we kind of decided that we were just going to take that off the table and pretty much go anywhere but. And I did enjoy the Waffle House. I really like any place that'll serve you breakfast 24 hours a day. And I'm adamantly opposed to the notion that it's okay to stop serving breakfast at 10 a.m. But I'm a big fan of breakfast food. But if you want to we can take this away from guitar and Dio, which are my two favorite subjects, and talk about my third favorite subject, which is breakfast food, that's totally fine. It may be more inclusive for the TSO fans. I had avocado toast with 2 eggs on it this morning, and it was awesome. And they serve breakfast until 11 here, which is awesome as well. Anybody name that riff? We could do like an all Dio name that tune. Make sure I'm actually dealing with what's the hardest song to play on the guitar from the Dio in the upcoming, and how do I practice playing guitar while doing hair flips? Okay, these are 2 very different questions. Hardest song to play on guitar from the upcoming Dio shows. Well, like the hardest solo to remember is any one of the Blackmore solos. Those are like, you know, they're just elusive because the fingerings are not like anybody else's. It's like, it doesn't, you know, from one lick to the next, like unless you have it verbatim, like you're just gonna miss it, like because it's so singular to the way Blackmore plays. So that stuff, I mean, I have a version of the Kill the King solo. Oh, and you know what? Let's just say this. Like, if I were to actually play the Kill the King arpeggio sequence, cross-picking the way that Blackmore does it, rather than kind of a 2-string pull-off arpeggio, that would be the hardest thing. And I have put some time in on it, so just so you understand what I'm saying, the arpeggio sequence I'm talking about is the... which is not really that challenging if you do it 2-string with a pull-off. So I'm playing this G minor, G there, D, B flat. But Blackmore is cross-picking it, and by cross-picking I mean that he's playing it across 3 strings, and I don't know if he's like upward sweeping it, like... But the closest I could come was to kind of do down, up, up. And it's not clean, and it's not quite there. It's not quite up to tempo yet. But if I get that together by February, will you come to the show? That's what I'm saying. Let's put your money where your mouth is. If Angus can nail Kill the King, cross-picking, come on, that's worth a trip. That's worth a trip. That's all I'm saying. That's probably the hardest thing. Anything by Blackmore. I was going to put like I Speed at Night from the Dio catalog in there, but there's at least one Vivian Campbell run in there that I was just like, whoa, buddy, that's a little much. I also like one of these, you know, it's weird, like Vivian Campbell's playing is like so rock and roll that you kind of underestimate just how fast he's playing on those records. It is, it's nuts. It's really cool. And he does the pattern lick in Don't Talk to Strangers. Right, but it's like, I'm embarrassing myself now. Anyway, that sequence in Don't Talk to Strangers, that's nuts. The last lick of the Last in Line solo. That one's insanely fast, and he's picking the whole thing. So I think that stuff is going to be some of the most challenging. Yes, Charlie, don't talk to strangers. That is some insane stuff. Practice doing hair flips. I don't know. I've been doing hair flips like just to get the hair out of my eyes ever since I've been a stage performer. So at this point, it kind of comes naturally. And then I just like moving in time to the music. It helps me stay in the pocket, and it helps me relax. There's a whole element of like this of what I'm doing in guitar instruction and everything that's more like coaching around anxiety, stage performance, that kind of stuff, because that's a big thing for what I do, is like being able to stay relaxed. Because if I'm not relaxed, my sense of the rhythm gets impacted negatively, and then it gets really hard to do anything. So like all the really fast stuff, it only comes together once I'm totally locked into the rhythm and I'm totally relaxed. So people comment about me smiling all the time on stage, and I am, I'm smiling, I'm authentically enjoying what's going on. Absolutely no question. It's like the best job ever. At the same time, smiling itself is a way of relaxing. People say what it takes like a bunch of muscles to frown, but it takes only like 3 muscles to smile or something like that. That's just a more relaxed posture when you smile. And so that's something that really works for me. So smiling, breathing, being in tune with my breathing, like not holding my breath or anything. That's very important. All these things help me stay relaxed. So the whole body movement thing, like whatever I'm doing, is usually something that has to do with staying relaxed, staying in time and in the groove with the band. And so long as it's not changing my, how my hands are actually placed on and interacting with the instrument, it doesn't interfere with the playing. It actually is just helping me execute. I was saying to Al yesterday, I'm doing these live streams, but it's like I'm having a really hard time demonstrating anything, because everything we play in the TSO show, like the muscle memory is all built around me playing it standing up with the guitar hanging a lot lower than it is when I sit. So I apologize if when I demonstrate I'm not nailing stuff, but it's a day off. And I'm really better when I'm in my playing posture, What do we got here? We Rock, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing We Rock. That's going to be challenging. Am I in the East Coast group? Laurel Johnson, no, I'm in the West Coast group. But if you're in the DC area, I'm bringing my Dio tribute to Ram's Head Annapolis on February 19th, 2026. So please get your tickets. Tickets are already on sale for that at Ram's Head Annapolis. It'll be me with Andrew Freeman on vocals. He's amazing. Matt Starr on drums. Mark Klett from TSO band as well. So please do that. Harry Halfhill, trying to get Mozart. Yeah, Mozart up to speed. That's a cross-picking nightmare, right? Because there's all this inside picking right there. And by inside picking, I mean I'm going up on this string and then down on that string. So I'm playing inside the space between the two strings, as opposed to outside picking where I'm going down, up, I'm going up, down. Yeah, that's really challenging. And just that riff is hard. But if you're doing Al's part, you got a whole bunch of stuff. Frantech asks, do I ever get nervous when I perform? That's always been a problem. Yeah, that's part of what I'm talking about with just the smiling and the breathing and the body posture. It's like musicians have a tendency to deposit their tension somewhere in their body. My mom was a singer, and she said it had been pointed out that she held all the tension in her legs. I'm not sure where mine goes, but I know that I alleviate the tension through breathing conscious breathing and smiling. Those two things help me lock into the rhythm, and it gets me there. I've gotten like the total butterflies about going on stage a few times. One time was where I was doing something other than guitar playing. I was actually hosting a corporate event. It was for like 2,000 people, and I think we went on right after Malcolm Gladwell, the author, you know, like the 10,000 hours guy. So like Malcolm Gladwell presents, and then I have to go out and host this songwriting-based team building facilitation. And I'm standing there waiting to go on, and it's the first time my company had done this thing, and so I started getting like, oh, super nervous. And then the keyboard player is this awesome guy named Doug, who is like Barry Gibb's musical director. He's like, you know, he's standing there next to me and goes, so do you do this a lot? And I was like, actually, this is the first time I'm doing this, but I think it's going to go great. And so just talking to Doug made me feel better, and then I got out there and we had the crowd in the palm of our hands in the first 30 seconds. So I think distraction is also a great thing. You have that little bit of distraction to kind of get yourself outside of the pressure of the moment. That stuff can help, but you don't want to get too distracted. So yeah, all those things. But there's also the confidence of preparation. If you've done all the preparation, then you should be able to rely on that to feel man, there's like 1 million sirens here in Birmingham, Alabama. I hope there's not a fire. That would be awful. So Fran, does that answer your question? Yeah, it happens. You know, it depends on a lot of things, but there's always ways out of it. And usually breathing and smiling is my way out of it. Ronnie says, engage the crowd. Yeah, engaging the crowd is another way to reduce anxiety about being there, because they're on your side. You know, if you get them on your side, then you're usually halfway there. I do have like a terrible story of messing something up when I was in Rock of Ages. I completely tanked a performance of More Than Words, and I realized that I was not breathing. I was actually like holding my breath, and I forgot one of the chords, and it got me off, and like I barely got back on for the end of the song. So from that point forward, I like was very conscious about my breathing, and you know, was able to alleviate that issue. So you learn, you know, there have to be some disasters if you're going to learn anything. The R&R Swami, do I get to go home for the holidays? No. I mean, I haven't, and because my home is in New Jersey, we're never close enough for me to, you know, kind of be anywhere. You know, my family flies out, so that's how it's worked for the last 24 years, and it's working well, so it's all good. So we'll be in Chicago for Christmas, which is pretty easy from New Jersey, so it's good. Thanks for asking. Luna Dewdrops, excited to see us. Saw the early show in Anaheim. I fist bumped your 10-year-old son. Well, that's my honor. It was his first concert. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. We'll tell him I said hi. Guitar DED 197 says, good evening to you. Can I play Christmas Canon Rock for a few seconds? Do I need the other guitar? Yeah, I can try that. Okay, hold on. All right, so Christmas Canon Rock. I will tell you this, like one of my former guitar techs texted me, he says, man, I think it's really cool the way you like totally mess up playing the TSO stuff on your live stream, and then you just laugh it off. So, like I said, it's a day off. I can't guarantee anything on this. Christmas Canon Rock solo, I mean, I've posted myself playing it fairly clean, so I don't want to, you know, I don't want to ruin my track record. But it's originally performed by Tristan Avakian, who is a excellent guitar player. But it's basically, you're going through the changes, which are A, E, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, D, A, D, E. And what's kind of tricky about it is that the tapping is on the offbeats. So like the first tap is like a ghost tap, like you're really just picking the string, and so that the one is down here. Right? And so it's like that pattern on your left hand. And then Tristan, actually, I think he just plays trills, like something like that. But I took a tip from Joel. I watched how he plays it, and I go. Joel actually goes. I think he, like he's tapping all the way up here, and I just. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's a challenging one. That's when I do a lot of conscious breathing around before I start playing. Yeah, so Sabotage did Hall of the Mountain King and Drop C. What tuning? So I think on the recording, that's in, I think we do it in F. Sorry, hold on. And I actually, my preferred tuning for that is to do it on a D standard guitar. So if you do it on a D standard guitar, it's like you're playing it in G. And when you get to this part where you go, when you get to that part, if you're on a standard guitar, you're playing it in F, so you're like this. And what I don't like about that is that I have to have my hand on the guitar to hold that note. Because at that point, there's like the lift is up and there's a huge pyro hit or the lights go nuts or something. And so I like to do it on a guitar in D standard. So I'm playing it in G so that when I get to that point, I can go. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy who would play a whole different guitar just so that I can do some crowd engagement or whatever you want to call that, what I just demonstrated. So that's the reason why I would pick an open tuning for that song. TR TNT Express, are you going to do anything else with guitar? I would love to do something with guitar. I emailed back and forth with him a couple times last couple of years. All of his appearances have been kind of one-offs, and I think he did a string of dates in Southeast Asia last year, and it's a different vibe now. Like, I think it's an electronic drum kit, and like the guitar player's sitting down. It just doesn't look like, it's not as rocked up as it was you know, the band that he wanted, what he wanted to be doing when I did my initial run with him. I'm thinking about putting together a concert program of guitarro and other cinematic kind of stuff, you know, because like if I were to pick someone else to tour with, it would be Hans Zimmer, but you know, Guthrie Govin's got that one. I'd love to do that gig. That would be great. What do we got here? First time I seen you guys in St. Louis, you were pitting one side of the arena, who could cheer loudest. Yeah, we love doing that. Yeah, Ronnie. All that stuff. I mean, it's great. It gets people engaged. We can't do the show without, you know, getting the crowd riled up. So I'm always looking for opportunities to do it. So that's why I'll play a different tuned guitar. I mean, if you want to talk about weird tunings, like we change the keys of some things for the singers, and we changed the key of Good King Joy, which on the album is in E, right? And so on the album it's in E, and there's that facilitates a bunch of things. Like the Good King Wenceslas quote is done against an open string. Excuse me. I mean, that's fun to do that way. It kind of sounds bagpipey. Can you tell I was a chorister growing up? I know Good King Wenceslas, the entire thing. Yeah, that's me. So the thing about, so it being an E facilitates that and the main riff. All that stuff, but we're doing it a whole step higher, which puts it in F sharp major. And for the musicians out there that know, F sharp major has a ton of sharps in it, and it's not like a real good guitar key, right? So I'd be like, everything would be fretted, so there wouldn't be a lot of like, you know, fun, raise your fist and whatever kind of stuff. So instead of doing it on a standard guitar, I do it on an E flat guitar, which puts it in G, right? So like when we're doing the thing at the top where we've got the whole crowd going, like waving back and forth. So if I was in F sharp, both hands would be occupied. I would be like this. But instead, the guitar's tuned down a half step. I'm playing it like it's in G, so I can play the power chord on the D and the G strings open, and I can do this part where I go. So I can do all the crowd interaction stuff because I don't have to have my left hand on the neck. And to be totally transparent about it, I took to doing this, where I do as much as I can with no hands on the neck, because I saw Keith Richards in, like, I don't know, what was the single from Steel Wheels, like Undercover of the Night or something like that. And you know, he's in open G, right? So he gets to do that all the time, and he was doing all these poses with his hand. He'd be like, play the guitar, and then he'd go like this, you know, like he was doing all this stuff in the video, and I was like, that's a proper rock star right there. And you know, I already had an opinion of the Stones at that point, but you know, there wasn't as much video. We weren't exposed to that much, you know, video back then of just how rock star they were, right? But when I saw him do that, I was like, any opportunity to play something where you don't have to have your hands on the neck is awesome, because then you can do this kind of big stuff. And also I think Zakk Wylde is great at that. You know, he's got every opportunity where he can just kind of do this kind of thing. So I really love that. So like if you see, anytime I play like a G chord, I'll be like, you know, in the context of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, like whether I'm playing an E power chord or just a big E note, it doesn't, you know what I mean? There are only certain times where it actually matters if you're just playing the note, or you're actually playing the chord. So where there's some audience interaction that's possible without sacrificing anything in the guitar part, I will always go for it. So sometimes the tuning is just to facilitate that kind of thing. So there you go. What do we put that under? Stagecraft? Let me know. Is that stagecraft? Stagecraft lessons with Angus. I'll make a course on AngusClarkGTR.com. Just to say it again, if you want to support what I'm doing, if you're enjoying being here, which I super appreciate you being here, there's links in the description. AngusClarkGTR.com is my teaching site. If you're interested in playing guitar, I have 30 surefire rock guitar licks available there. Please click like and subscribe on this video. And if you don't play an instrument and you just want to support what I do, please come see the TSO, of course, first and foremost. But I've got the Angus Clark Band album. The link is in the description. It's available through Deco Entertainment. You could also get a Angus Clark Band t-shirt, or you can get the Got Licks, Angus Clark GTR Got Licks, which is a play on the Got Milk slogan from yesteryear. And that helps. That's great. I'd love to see you come out to a TSO show in your Got Licks t-shirt. But also get the coffee mug, because coffee's great. Okay, what do we got? Oh, and Ronnie, we are pitting me and Asha pit the audience against each other during 1224, so look for that. Let's see, Lone Star Aerials, any major mess-ups falling out? I've fallen a few times. I fell right on the main deck at least once. Not fun. But the best mess-up, well, there's a couple of good mess-ups. One of my favorites was at the World Arena in Colorado Springs, where this is when Anna Phoebe was playing violin with us, and we had a remote stage gag, and we went down there and we did the remote stage gag, and then we're running back, and whatever kind of flooring they used in that arena would get super slick with the fake snow. And I had started wearing cowboy boots with a heel because Anna was relatively tall and was wearing heels. And, you know, come on. So, I mean, these cowboy boots with like absolutely no tread whatsoever. I'm running back towards the stage. She's going to beat me back to the stage. So I'm like running to beat her back to the stage. And the stairs back onto the stage were dead center. And I'm running in these ridiculous cowboy boots, and I have to slow down to get on the stairs, and my feet just go flying out from under me, and I slide halfway under the stage. And I'm playing a Randy Rhoads guitar, an RR5. It's a Japanese-made Randy Rhoads model. And I knocked a solid 2 inches off of the upper wing of that guitar right then. And I'm lying there. At this point, you know, it's like it's coming into the end of 1224, or like, you know, like Angus is now lying on his back. He's knocked 2 inches off of the top of his Randy Rhoads model. And I'm just lying there laughing, because what else can you do, you know? And then all these security guys start coming to like do something about it, and they're all slipping. It's like walking on an ice rink at this point. And so like, it's like an episode of the Keystone Cops. There's like 5 guys, you know, like with their, you know, kind of can't move. And finally our road manager at the time, Jason Moran, he just, I don't know if he's wearing the right kind of shoes. He just swoops in there, shoves his arms under my armpits and like hoists me up and like puts me up on the step, and I get back on the stage, you know, just in time for the big hooray. So that was a good one. That's maybe my favorite. That's one of my favorites. And the other one was when I had a malfunctioning lift. I was never in any danger, but it didn't. I was very uncomfortable because it just tilted slightly. It stopped moving and it tilted slightly, and And so I was like ill at ease and like wasn't sure what was going on, but I kept playing. And then they figured it out and it righted itself. As I said, it wasn't that bad at tilt. I was never in any danger. It was a safety harness. Like everything's fine, but it was just this little tilt and it wasn't moving. And I was like, oh my God. And all I could think of in that moment was the scene in Spinal Tap where where they had these pods and the one guy was stuck in the pod. Harry Shearer's character is like stuck in the pod and they can't get out. And by the time they get him out, the song's over. So he goes to get back in. And as he's getting back in, the pod like closes on him. So he's like half in and half out. And he's stuck there and the song's over. And what he does is he just like puts his fist in the air. And so while this is happening to me, that's all I can think about is like, this is just so Spinal Tap. And so when the thing gets corrected and starts moving again, I'm like, I'm back in business. So I put my fist in the air and I see like, you know, like 10 to 15 people like put their fists in the air back at me. And from then on, that's been like the thing that I do. I stick my fist in the air. So if anybody wonders where that came from, it's on account of this mishap and my allegiance to Spinal Tap. So there you go. It's a little inside joke for everybody. So there you go, Lone Star Aerials. You got the story. Hall the Mountain King is awesome. Yes, Dimitri. What's up, Dimitri? Yeah, Dimitri, I'm going to make that S-Gear preset available. I exported it. So I will update the description of this video so you can get a hold of it. It's always a gun show. Come on, bro. What do we got? First Angus, Harry, Half Hill, Chanted Evening. Yep, WQED. Super appreciate that. I'm doing a transcription of the Kokoro solo that'll be available probably with a full lesson through AngusClarkGTR.com. So be on the lookout for that. If you're not familiar with my work with Kitaro, that was the first touring gig I ever got in the 90s, and 3 Grammy-nominated records with Kitaro, a PBS special, and very proud of that work. So there's still a lot of you can look for it online. The big solo is a song called Kokoro, spelled K-O-K-O-R-O, if you want to check that out. And I apologize about my mustache in advance. Please don't mention it. Let's see, what do we got? The changing of the pickup toggle switch, yeah. Yes, Jeff Singer. It's one of the things. What do we got here? Do the two TSO bands ever do a show together? It would be cool to see. Yeah. Well, we did at Wacken. There's footage, like we were swapping in and out. So like I would have played with Jeff Plate and Dave Z. You know, we would have all been on the stage together at one time or another. And then we had both stages running at Wacken, which is the first and only time that's ever been done. So, what do we got here? Saw me in LA a couple weeks ago, representing. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, always a pleasure to rock LA. And yeah, I think the TSO in general is representing guitar playing pretty well. We keep it at the focus of what we do, and to one degree or another. But it's a huge ensemble, and the singers are amazing, and everyone's amazing. It's great. Guitar Dead 197. Do I collect guitars? I don't intentionally collect guitars, but I don't sell a lot of the guitars I buy. So what does that make me? More of a hoarder. Let's say I'm a guitar hoarder rather than a collector. Thank you, Susan. We had a great time in Oklahoma City. Always good. Great folks. Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Yeah, we're playing on top of ice in a lot of these arenas. What else? Jeff, the TSO amps go to 11. Ooh, I don't know. Remember Marshall put out those amps that go to 11, they put out amps that go to 20, and all that kind of stuff. Vivian Campbell on those first 2 Dio records. What a legend. Just like, you know, the playing is so aggressive. He was young, right? And the tone was like really in your face. Just love that stuff. One thing, you know what, and I did a Learn This Lick episode about one of those licks in that's the Last in Line solo, right? And I noticed a lot of people, they play Last in Line solo, they start here on the F, right? But that's not what Vivian does. He starts on the A and he neighbor notes. Here it goes. Watch him. So if you see anybody do this, no, niente, no, not right. It's this. Everybody got that? There'll be a quiz later. What else do folks get wrong from the Vivian Campbell thing? Well, just that one, which I don't have it in front of me. That little passage in Last in Line. A lot of people get that one wrong. But there's so much tricky stuff in his things. Right? What's that? I could go on, but I won't. Jeff Plate. Yeah, hey Jeff, what's up, man? Thanks for checking out the live stream. Jeff Plate is here, drummer for Savatage and TSO East. And yes, all kudos to Paul O'Neill for getting both stages of Wacken working together. That was an amazing experience, and it was probably the only time that Jeff Plate and I got to play together on stage. Ronnie Horn asked, how's Maggie? Maggie's doing great. She's home there with Bonnie and Lily. They're doing great. What do I think of weight-relieved Les Pauls? I had one for a while. I mean, you know, I don't know. Most Les Pauls are great. That's the thing. Like, you could make generalizations about like Norlin era Les Pauls or, you know, 70s Les Paul, you know, versus 59s and blah, blah, blah. But I think Justin Ostrander was saying it, that like, you know, it's like a bell curve, and a lot of them are great, and some of them aren't great, and some of them are just amazing. And I think you know, you'll have weight-relieved ones that are killer. But yeah, I had a traditional Pro Plus that Michael, a friend of mine, purchased, and that's still a great guitar. I have an R9 now that I'm really fond of. Do I play acoustic in the show? I do not play acoustic in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra show. I brought my Little Martin out when I did, and pretty much all of my acoustic guitars have LR Baggs pickups in them, and those are the ones I recommend. There's a video here on my YouTube channel where I do the where I'm using a Gibson with a LR with an LR bags in it. I also have the LR bags preamp and a couple of their effects pedals. Great company, great folks to work with. But I think the Anthem is great. And then they have a new thing called the Hi-Fi Duet that I haven't tried yet, but it looks like, I mean, they know what they're doing, so I don't think they would have rolled out a next-gen technology without it being pretty awesome. It's like a combination of a silo mic and a sensors that are kind of similar to the K&K system. But the Anthem just sounds great. You can mix the mic with the undersaddle and gets you a great result. And I think, and you know, I had been talking to Al about that for a while, and he, you know, he just moved from playing the Chet to playing a Martin with an LR bags in it. So, so I think I'm going to say we'll call that a +1 for using the LR bag system. You know, it just sounds great. Tim Sonic Boom, hey man, I'm doing good. We're here on the live stream. We still got 50 people here. Is there anything? My favorite TS? Come on, Sarajevo 1224. What else is it going to be? Got to dance with the one that brung you. Jeff McErlane just posted a link to Angus Clark GTR in the chat. Please go there if you're interested in my 30 Surefire Rock Licks course. What are we at? We're coming up on an hour, so I'm probably going to wrap it up pretty soon. So if you're there and you have a question, I recommend that you get in the chat and ask it. It's a nice community here. Everybody is being super cool, and I super appreciate everyone for being here. Al is a tremendous guitar player. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it last week, but if you haven't checked it out, I did a lesson on how to play the run at the end of 1224, just like the album version. It's on my channel, and I wax poetic about the genius of what that run is and how that solution probably came to be with Al working with Paul and Bob and everything. And it's just, there's so much stuff that, well, you know, Al has a big track record. Like, I mean, I own the Asia record that he played on, you know, like I knew about him from then, and all the stuff he did with Alice Cooper, and the fact that he was able to cover, like, you think about it, by the time he took the Megadeth gig, they had already had, I'm gonna mess this up, Marty, of course, Chris Poland, who's, I mean, Chris Poland is, like, we could go for days about just how nuts Chris Poland's playing is. And then a guy named Jeff, I think, was the original guy. And there goes Al and just nails it, just nails the whole thing. And he's still got all the down-picking chops and everything from the Megadeth stuff. And he's got this whole bag of Almonds things. And then when he goes and does radio, he does the acoustic stuff like nobody's business. You know, the vocabulary this guy has. And that's just as a guitar player. And then if you go the other end with like his, you know, harmonic arranging capability, all that stuff, you're talking about an extraordinarily talented person. So I'm honored and privileged to be working with him always. So, and I hope he sees this. What else have we got? Yeah, so if you saw the thing about 1224, you know what I mean. I mean, it's just sneaky. I think the first lick he ever showed me was one in the middle of Mad Russians, and it was like, right? And it's like so clever because it's really a 1-2-4, but it's like the pattern makes it all quirky. With the chromatic just to get you back. You know, it's like, that was like day one of rehearsal. oh yeah, let me show you that. You know, and he's playing it in his position. Okay, so it's here. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, okay, good. Fast hands. I was like, okay, I guess I didn't get fired today. So that was a good day. Oh, hey, Tim. Yeah. What's up? There's been covered. Do we ever swap East and West shows for a season? Where you're in Tennessee? Yeah. No, we don't intentionally swap anything. Like, I think that it's all routing. It's all due to the routing, and so I was really, I felt really fortunate to be able to play Atlanta and Nashville and Memphis the few times that the West Coast band got to do those shows. It was really awesome. You know, I have friends in Nashville and Atlanta, and having those folks, you know, get to see me. You know, it's like 24 years I've never played my hometown show. It'd be nice, but I think we went over this question on the last live stream. You know, it's we as a team, as one big team, it's like we all, you know, feel like the fans are getting, most of the fans, you know, are getting, we get to see the fans. It's tradition. It's the people you get to spend Christmas with. We don't want to change that on people, you know. It's like, you know, I know that people are really into it, want to see both shows, and I heartily encourage you to travel if you can get to see both shows. It's, you know, it's I think it's a treat to be able to see both, but you're getting a great show either which way, and you're also getting the comfort of seeing the people you get to see every year. So I don't think we would ever intentionally start swapping casts on you. You know, it's just due to the logistics and stuff. So you know, that's it. Let's see. Well, yeah, we're just over an hour. There's still 51 people watching. Like I said, if you wanna ask something, please ask it now. I'm happy to give you any other infotainment regarding. If you're, I will be updating the description here to include a link where you can access the preset that I'm using on S-Gear, Scuff and Amps S-Gear. It's what I'm using to get these wicked tones. This is a Gibson Les Paul, standard 50s. It's got Pariah pickups in it, and it was refinished to look like Vivian Campbell's Holy Diver era Les Paul. I'm going to be using it for the Dio tunes when my Dio tribute Dio Rules plays at Ram's Head, Annapolis on February 19th, and Mickey's Black Box, Lidditz, Pennsylvania on February 20th of next year. Tickets are already available. Please come on out. And my course, 30 Surefire Rock Licks, is available through AngusClarkGTR.com. Please go there if you're interested. And if you want to just kind of support what I do, you can follow the links to get a Angus Clark Band album. Very proud of it. Very proud of the riff rockage that is the Angus Clark Band. It's like Hendrixy meets groovier Aerosmithy kind of stuff. Half my Instagram posts use Angus Clark Band tunes as a soundtrack. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard the riffs by the album. And other than that, leave questions and stuff in the comments after the chat closes down. I love hearing from you, and I can cover it on another live stream. And I think I've got next Tuesday off, so I will try and get in here and do that again. Chris Broderick. Chris Broderick's a killer player, and hey, Bill. All right. Well, thank you. Well, thank you all. If you're coming to a TSO show, I will see you there. And if you're, you know, be sure and leave comments over here, or say hi, reach out to me. You know, I try to respond to everybody. I'm not on Facebook that much. I basically post on Instagram, and it cross posts to Facebook. And hit subscribe on here so you get notified. And click the bell so you get all the notifications, so you can find out when I'm doing this again. And I'm just super happy so many people showed up. It's really awesome, and we're having a great time on tour, and there are still tickets available. So please come on out and come see the show, and we will try to bring a second face, because we will rock your face off. And if you love Dio as much as if you love Dio half as much as I do, then I love Dio twice as much as you. But either way, you should probably come see Dio Rules in February, playing at the Ram's Head, Annapolis, Maryland, and Mickey's Black Box, Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And with that, I will leave you. I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, as I said, I think, yeah, I'll be in New Orleans next week. And we'll do it again, and I'll try and come up with some more fun stuff we can do. Did anybody name? Can we do one last name that lick? Let's see if anybody can name this. Anybody? Come on. Yes, thank you, Dimitri. No one knows that lick. All right, we'll try an easier one. I have to be careful with the Sabbath stuff, because, you know, Warner Brothers, they're like super diligent. Alexander, no, it was not Holy Diver. Pinky. I got a comment about my pinky vibrato. It all comes from the wrist. You just have to keep it. Falling off of the edge of the world. There you go, Dimitri. All right, that's it. Okay. Yes, Dimitri and Children of the Sea. All right, fantastic. We'll name this riff part of the festivities for next time. Come prepared. Charlie Parra, I got Falling Off the Edge of the World. All right, awesome. All right, folks, thank you so much for coming and checking it out. I super appreciate you. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be well. I'll talk to you soon.